Hello and welcome to On the Kerbs. I'm your host, Timo Albers Daily. Joining me this time is mindset coach and author of the Mindset Mission, Danielle Simpson. Mental health has been coming more and more into the forefront of motorsport in recent years, and this is something that Danielle has been pushing for as she works with young up-and-coming racing drivers. We chatted about how and why she decided to do this, her varied career in motorsport up to now, her ambitions for the future, and plenty more. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hi Danielle, welcome to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here today. First of all, how are you?
Very well, thank you. The sun is shining, so can't really complain.
Not at all. So, first question I like to ask everyone that I talk to on here, what first got you interested in motorsport?
So my dad is a massive Formula One fan. And back when I was a little girl, he used to always have it on telly. And I was a big daddy's girl. So whatever he was watching, whether it was Gone Fishing, which is an awful program, don't ever watch it, or Formula One, I was there watching too. So that was my first introduction to motorsport. And we still now most Sundays sit down, if I'm not away with racing, most Sundays sit down together and watch Formula One together. He's a massive Lewis fan and I'm a Max fan. So sometimes we don't speak. But yeah, my dad is who introduced me to motorsport.
I imagine the career trajectory if it had been the fishing instead, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, what a boring life that would have been.
Uh, Luckily, motorsport is the one that you went for, and as part of that, you've had what I think is fair to say a variety of roles within the world of motorsport. But you started out as a grid girl, so I want to know, how did that happen?
Yeah, so basically, I was working in the fitness industry, and at this point in time, I was a personal trainer. And one of my clients come to me, and she was a grid girl, and basically, she wanted to slim down, tone up, just to feel a little bit more confident while standing on grid. Obviously, she'd openly talk about it lots and lots and lots, and invited me down. And at first, I was very hesitant, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I do not want to stand there half naked. And then she informed me that that's not how it is anymore, and come down and just see what you think. So she took me to Brands Hatch, which is a local track of both of ours. And the second I got there, I was instantly like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. The sounds, the smells, obviously the speed of the cars. And it just was so nice seeing her there, all confident, everyone taking pictures of her. So yeah, it was a really nice atmosphere. And yeah, loved it.
I'd say as well, depending on the weather that you get in certain parts of England, I can see why you didn't like the idea necessarily of being a grid girl at first there, if it was going to be like it used to be.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've been to many a track where I am absolutely freezing, and you do your hair, you do makeup, and then the first race is like raining terribly. Which obviously they give you umbrellas, however, that doesn't really sometimes solve the problem.
It doesn't
And then
warm
for
you
the
up
rest of
that
the day,
much,
you
though.
just look like a drowned frizzy rat. Like
What a
as I
weird looking
obviously
mascot you've got for
develop
this car.
and I obviously learned more about gridding as I went on. Then obviously as the years went on, you'd have the hair straightener, the hair tongs, the spare shoes, and all this kind of jazz. But yeah, the first year of gridding was I looked a mess.
Throwing you at the deep end as such.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was
As you were
good.
saying there, though, the role of the grid girl has kind of evolved over time quite a bit, and
Mhm.
today it's definitely not what it used to be. So there is still a bit of debate about whether they should be there at all, and you've got grid guys now as well to, I guess, balance things out a bit, or just have that as an option, which just wasn't thought of at all at certain points in motorsport history. So it's kind of seemed a bit alien, I guess, to people. So I wanted to just get your thoughts
Mhm.
on what being grid girl kind of means to them, the place it has in motorsport.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it has moved on from many moons ago when it was more sort of sex appeal. Obviously, there is still an element of that because we are still humans and sex does sell. But at the same time, I think it's more about the experience of it all. Obviously, there's some grids out there that don't have grid girls anymore, Formula One being one of them. But I don't know. I just think it adds an extra element of entertainment. It's not just for men. Some women like love it as well, because they might aspire to, I don't know, be in lycra, I don't know, or for young girls, young boys, do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my god, who's that? Like,
What's that
and
body
sometimes
confidence?
you do. Yeah, exactly. Body confidence, and just it's just, I don't know. It just adds an extra element to the racing, I think, and it's not harming anyone. The grid girls aren't a piece of meat, which obviously when they were having the massive debate about getting rid of them, they were saying it's very sexist and you're just a piece of meat. 9 times out of 10, they get paid quite handsomely, and it's their choice to be there. So why take away extra funds? Do you know what I mean? It's only 10 weekends out of the year, 9 times out of 10. So why take away that extra fun from that girl if she is happy to be there, to be honest? So I don't think it's harming anyone, and I had the best time while doing it. So yeah, I don't see the problem really.
I see it a bit like, to use the American kind of comparison, you've got cheerleaders there for just about everything.
Yeah.
And do you lose anything or gain anything with having them there? That's a bit of an argument, but it definitely adds to that overall atmosphere. Like you say, again,
I can argue that point.
Okay,
I can argue that point because I used to live in Canada when I was little. Not little, and they always have entertainment on. So if it's a basketball game, obviously you got cheerleaders, whatever. Ice hockey, you got kiss cam, you got mascots. Like there's always an extra something that doesn't need to be there, but it's there for the experience and for the entertainment. Like exactly. When I lived in Manchester for university, I went to a Man United match just because I lived there, and I thought I better do it because I can say I've been to a football game. Oh my god, I was so bored because during half term, I was going to say, not half term.
That's how long you were there.
Yeah, exactly. Some old men come out with sticks stabbing the grass, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I've got quite a gap here to wait for the footballers to obviously regroup, and I've got to just watch old men stabbing the grass. So I wasn't impressed. So back to my argument, we're needed just for entertainment, really. Because again, like obviously the cars are on grid for quite a while, like changing tires and getting ready and stuff. So if there wasn't a grid girl to look at, then it is probably a bit boring, isn't it?
So, like you say, it gives that extra bit of variety, and there is always something new to look at. Then
exactly. Kiss cam next for Motorsport, please.
Just don't put Ricardo in charge of that. I feel like that's a terrible idea waiting to happen.
No, I'm first in line if it's Ricardo.
No, he's in control of it. You don't get to kiss him. That's different.
Okay, I don't get to kiss him. Oh, okay, fine.
I'm not that stupid. One of the many fun facts about you that I learned doing my homework was that you ended up singing on Silverstone Radio. So I want to know how that happened, and obviously the all-important question: can you sing?
So let's just cut to the chase. No, I can't sing. And the song that I was singing really highlights that I can't sing. It was
You're going to do it properly.
No, yeah, exactly. It was Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. Basically, it must have been 2020 or maybe it was 2021. I don't know. One of the years, Silverstone did a light show. I think it was 2021 when we went, because they did it in 2020 and I didn't go. And then obviously last year they stopped it, which I was absolutely gutted about. But anyway,
you wanted another go at it, did
you? Better song this time. Do you know what I mean? Like My Humps or something. Anyway, me, my dad, and my two little sisters drove up to see the lights. And basically, what they did is they turned half the track into a light show, and you just drove around very, very, very slowly, watching all the lights. And then at the end, there was like a silent silent movie thing that come through the radio. Anyway, one of my friends was one of the hosts, and basically you had to text them song requests and stuff, blah, 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 blah. So me and my sisters thought it would be really funny to send a voice note of us singing Mariah Carey, basically saying that's the song that we wanted to come on, All I Want for Christmas, but obviously we sang it. Next minute we are being blasted all over the radio because he's playing the voice note like through the radio, and I was just mortified, but also loved it. Do you know what I mean? What an experience. So I apologise to everyone who was at Silverstone that day, hearing the strangled cat version of All I Want for Christmas. But hey, me and my sisters have been on the radio singing away.
I was going to say hindsight's 2020, but at the same time, you don't seem to mind too much. So we are.
No, all good. Probably a highlight of my existence, to be honest.
We'll say that, but we'll move on to what essentially is the next big highlight then. Because since your days, I know it's hard to top that, so you've got to go in a really different direction here, which luckily you've done. So since your day started out, like I said, you've had a few different roles and you've now transitioned into the world of mental health and combined that with motorsport. So what made you want to do this? And can you tell us a bit more details about how all of this side of your work now, just how it functions and what it's all about?
Yeah, 100%. So how it all come about was obviously 2020. I was working for a touring car team as head of hospitality, and I was very, very excited about it. It was definitely the next thing that I wanted to, do, smash, whatever. And then obviously 2020, the first people to go was hospitality because we wasn't allowed any sponsors or fans or anything. Everyone else got to go racing, all the mechanics, or I think they had like smaller teams, but still majority of people still got to go. And for me, motorsport is my happy place. It's where I get to be completely me. It's where I obviously thrive with the smells, the sounds, all of that kind of jazz. And obviously I have been there for quite a long time now, so I have some really strong, amazing relationships in motorsport. 2019 was a really bad year for me mentally. So to be honest, I was really looking forward to going back in the April, because obviously it's seasonal work, and it's April to October. So I was really looking forward to going back in the April, and then obviously I couldn't go. So I had a bit of a tantrum, threw my toys out the pram, and was just like, right, I need to be a role where if we ever have a pandemic or if anything ever happens again, I'm not a person that's being told that I'm not allowed to come because I'm not needed. At the same time, I'd started writing my book, which I again don't have it here. Hang 2 seconds. Here we go. Plug. So I'd started writing my book at this point as well, which was great. And then during that process, I realised that if anyone read my book and wanted to talk to me personally because they resonated with my story,
when they read your book.
Yeah, sorry, when they read it, right?
You've got to have some confidence there.
When they read my book, and if they wanted to talk to me about whatever was going on in their life, I currently at that point wasn't qualified. And don't get me wrong, do you know what I mean? I'm all here for supporting other people, but at the same time, if they're reading my book, they probably want to talk to me. So I decided that I should probably go get my qualification. Obviously, at this point, we were still in lockdown, so I had all the time in the world, which I'm so, so grateful for lockdown, to be honest, because I wouldn't have been able to juggle all of this if I was still was working as well.
Reset that a lot of people would expect.
Yeah, sorry, I'm probably the only person in the world that was like loving COVID year. But anyway, so anyway, got my qualification, and then obviously the following year, which was 2021. I basically had rebranded myself and started working with people in motorsport with their mindset, because I need to do lots of case studies and stuff to be able to pass my exam. I just made it my mission to make sure that I was coming back, but as somebody that was needed, which obviously hospitality is needed again, which is fantastic. And I feel like lots of teams have gone bigger and better now that we do have hospitality, so it's amazing. I have sort of merged two passions, which I'm really lucky and happy about. Basically I don't just work with drivers, but at the minute on my sort of roster of clients, it's just drivers. But previously I've worked with grid girls. I have worked with a couple mechanics. But basically it's just helping them sort of understand their self-limiting beliefs, because we all have self-limiting beliefs. It doesn't matter who you are in the world. But it's basically becoming aware of them and how can we sort of diminish them and make them not the forefront of, if we're trying to do something, boom, and limiting belief comes and stops us from doing that. So it's basically about reaching your potential, but having a set of tools that can calm you down if you do get anxiety or do get mad or upset or whatever, sort of bouncing back quicker than previously you might have. Ideally it's a set of techniques to make you aware of where you currently are, where you want to be, and setting goals and small action points to get you there. So that's basically what I do. Ideally, not ideally, but at the minute I am working with quite a few Janetta juniors, which is really nice. Sorry, you just saw my dad walking past there. I don't know what he's doing in the garden.
Cameoing. He just wants to be on the podcast. I get that.
Yeah, it's because I mentioned him earlier. He's like, quick, talk about me. I'm working with Janetta juniors at the minute, which I'm absolutely loving, because obviously it's a step up from karting into cars. So instantly there's a couple self-limiting beliefs there because they've never driven a car before, because they range from 13 to 17. So obviously they haven't got their license. So yeah, it's been really amazing working with those young females. And yeah, at the minute it seems to be just females, which also I'm loving, because obviously I'm a girl, they're a girl, empower women. Woo, woo, woo. Or empower, not empower. Can't even speak. I'm an author and can't even speak. How amazing. But
luckily you can write, so that's the main thing.
Just about. If I can do it, anyone can write a book, okay? So I'm just putting it out there.
Two things on that point then is, the first, if we go back to the Ginetta drivers, because like you say, it's the first time in a car a lot of the time, and transitioning from cars into that. And because we see, like I was saying, mental health kind of coming more to the forefront in motorsport a bit more these days through the likes of yourself, for example, it's still kind of, for lack of a better phrase, used as kind of a token thing, as like, hey, look, we're doing this, and then you don't really see anything about it again. Maybe you come back at it as a throwback, as like, oh, remember when we did this? Oh, crap, we were supposed to do something with that. Oops, let's not focus on that completely. But with the younger drivers, you've got more of a thing of, it's going to be more ingrained in them that they can go to these resources and can be absolutely comfortable with that from the get-go. Whereas with some of the older drivers, and I say older, like late 20s, 30s, counts as old in our profession. Never mind the proper actually older people.
The Jason Places of the world.
You said it, not me. That's not my funeral. But it might be a bit more difficult to convince them to even be open to that side of things. Whereas this, it kind of helps make it more of the norm. So A, that's a really good thing there. And second of all, you've got this thing where, like we were saying, women's roles have evolved in motorsport, not just career girls, but like you say, you saw an opportunity within all of this kind of craziness that was happening to reinvent yourself a bit and make sure that you were even more essential as possible to the motorsport. So do you think that's also a way with this mental health side of things to carve out more roles for women and encourage them into motorsport and show this other direction there?
100%. Going back to the old drivers.
There was a lot there, right?
Love it. I hate to think what you can class me as, because I'm over 30. So Jesus,
I am not stupid enough to say anything to
that. But yeah, like you said, the saying that pops into my head is like, you can't teach old dog new tricks. And it's not that I haven't. Well, I have tried, but I probably haven't given it my absolute all, because 9 times out of 10 you get a comment like, oh, it's just witchcraft, or just get on with it, or do you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of very much,
am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with the younger ones, I'm making it habit now, so then they can use these tools in any aspect of life and any point of their life. Do you know what I mean? Like, one of my Ginetta junior drivers, she just finished, no, not just finished, I think it was like November time, just finished her mock GCSEs, and beforehand she'd be so anxious and literally like going into like frenzy because she had to sit in this exam for however many hours. Whereas because I've taught her meditation, because I've taught her breath work, she was doing that before she walked into the exam, and she was completely cool as a cucumber. And when I saw her at the Ginetta Awards, she was literally like, you don't understand the tools that you've taught me. Like, they're showing up in every aspect of my life, and I am just so much more calmer, and I know I can handle whatever's thrown at me. And just hearing comments like that from a 16-year-old, I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, I would have loved to have had me at 16 going through, life. Do you know what I mean? And just because we aren't working together constantly now doesn't mean that I'm not going to speak to her again. So, it's just nice to know that people are listening and they are using the tools to benefit them in every aspect, not just motorsport. So that's that. The second point was, what was the point? Women are taking over the world. Is that what you said?
Essentially, that seems to be happening in a lot of respects too, to be fair. So, but more kind of, you carved out your whole role in kind of an area that there wasn't a lot there. Do you think that's a good place that you can help encourage more women to get into motorsport? Because we're obviously trying to do that with drivers and lots of people behind the scenes as well, but there's, again, not so much focus on the mental health side. So again, there's this whole other avenue where there is a lot of potential for women to really
100%.
go and, like you say, take over that aspect of the world, maybe.
Yeah. Pinky in the brain, we're taking over the world. 100%.
There's the graphic for this episode.
Yeah, like Pinky's body in my head.
Let me see what I can do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, 100%. It's in the coaching world, because there is obviously a coaching world, and I know loads of coaches. I must say I am the only one I know. Well, there are a few in motorsport. That, to be honest, it's been quite funny. We haven't actually collaborated or spoke, or we just know that each other are there. But in the coaching world, it is predominantly women. So yeah, it is another avenue for obviously young people and any people to come into motorsport. And obviously it's nice to see now, like, there's more female mechanics on teams and stuff like that. So I'm joking when we say we're taking over the world, but at the same time, it is really refreshing, and it is really nice to see that there are more females coming into motorsport in every aspect. I even know a mechanic who actually has gridded as well, so they're like crossing over different parts, which is beautiful to see, because we can multitask. So
I never said you
it's
couldn't.
good. Yeah. Oh dear, but no, there's space for everyone. So yeah, everyone get involved.
What are your ambitions then for mindset within motorsport, not just for this year, but for the long term?
So I really want to start a retreat. Ideally, I'd like it abroad, but I'm happy to this year just suffer and stay in England.
Never know. Depending when you do it, you might get lucky with the weather.
Yeah, you never know. Today, for instance, beautiful. Who would know? Who would know? But yeah, I really want to start running retreats. I think at the minute I will still at females in motorsport, and then see how it goes, and then obviously grow it from there. But yeah, I would really like, you get boxing retreats and stuff like that, and then in motorsport there's just nothing happening. So I work very closely with an amazing company called SimTrack. Plug, they're up in Yorkshire, go check them out. And I'm always doing workshops and development days with them, and we they have like a massive team. It's literally incredible piece of kit. So it would be nice if we collaborated and did some sort of retreat together. But yeah,
it's tackling that grassroots side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so that's what I'm thinking at the moment. For the next coming years, that will be my focus. And obviously keep working with racing drivers and teams. I'm open to teams as well. So we'll see.
So set yourself a challenge.
Yeah. Well, I just have like this amazing image, like like when the Formula One guys are getting all warmed up and stuff, and they're doing all their stretches and all that jazz. Like, I would absolutely love to. It doesn't have to be Formula One; it can be any team. But like, have like a meditation session, like, I don't know, say 20 minutes before they do all their stretches and stuff. So they're all in like a really calm state of mind. Like, they've all done their like box breath and their different breathing techniques. Then they go into their stretching and whatever else they do during that point. But it's not just like, everyone needs to be calm, because it's a team sport, even though obviously there's 9 times out of 10 only one or potentially 2 drivers in the car. If it's obviously like endurance racing, or maybe more, but whatever. Like, it's a team sport. So I feel like everyone needs to be in a calm setting. And where I have worked in race teams before, it's not a calm setting. Like, it is very full on, especially if something goes wrong with the car. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, like, they're frantically running around. And like, the thing is, like, that affects your cortisol levels, and like, it affects your body. Like, if you go into a frantic state, it takes hours for your body to like reset and recalibrate. Whereas if you have obviously these tools and techniques and somebody there to be like, okay, guys, let's just breathe. Like, the drama's over. I'm not saying go for like hours and hours and hours of meditation, but like literally a 10-minute meditation.
We've got a race.
That can reset. Yeah, exactly. That can reset you and get you ready for whatever. So yes, I really want to work with teams and help teams strive to do excellent things.
So plugging for yourself there, Emma, is perfectly good. So there's more what you're here to do.
Love it.
If you could go to any racing event in the world for life, so you've got one that you can, let's say you could probably get to other ones, but there's one that you could guarantee that you get to forever. Which one would you go to and why?
Okay, so I'm very lucky, and I have been to Formula One, well, the British Grand Prix. I've been, I think, 3-4 times now. And 2 of the times I've been like in VIP, and it's been absolutely incredible. I personally think, even though I really want to go to Abu Dhabi at the end of the year, I was really hoping to go last year, but it just didn't come into fruition. However, I do just think the Silverstone one is amazing because you see everyone in motorsport that you know there. Like, and Abu Dhabi would be amazing. You probably would see a couple of people there because there's quite a few people who fly out for it. However, like being in Silverstone, like being at home, watching the F1, like with all your friends, having the best time, and then seeing people do things that they're potentially not meant to be doing. Like, it's just amazing. It's just
You
the
want to get
best
the gossip
atmosphere ever. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, no, it's just such an incredible experience, and that atmosphere. And you know, like when you are at home being British, and then, you know, if certain people win, obviously other people get excited. I personally don't, but it's fine. I like Lando, so I'm happy if Lando does well. And I like George, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know, there's
We'll
something
talk you
about
around.
yeah, I just won't say the name. There's something about being at the English Grand Prix. So that would be my, if I have to go to an event every single year, what would it be? It would be that.
Can't fault the
But I'm
choice,
going
let's be
VIP.
honest.
I'm not going. I'm not camping. I can't do tents.
Glamping, maybe? Middle ground?
No, absolutely not. No, I need electricity and I need running water and a toilet that has walls. So
Technically, a Portaloo has walls. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, but the walls can move if somebody starts rocking it.
Oh, you're getting so specific now with these things.
I'm just not speaking from experience, luckily, but yeah, it's not the one. Like recently, we went to where did we go? What's it called? Oh my god, Welsh track. What's it called?
Oh, yes, I'm having a bad thing with that now. So like,
Oh my god, what is it? Anglesey. That's it,
Anglesey.
Anglesey.
It's
We
like I
went
can
there
see
for
it in
race
my
to
head.
remembrance. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I can see the A, but what's the rest of the word? Yeah, we went there for race to remembrance, and we was in a motorhome, which I was like, this is cool. Like, you know, that's fine. Like everything's here. Like it was kind of like, I don't know, it just felt cool because I was on the top bunk as well, so I felt really fun. Until we had to undo the toilet little
The
thing.
dunny.
Yeah, the fun stopped massively. Luckily, the person who designed that knew that you might have to carry the bucket of all the way around the track. So they actually made it into like a little suitcase. So it has wheels and an
What have you got in
arm. And
there?
I was
You
like,
don't want to know.
this is clever. Whoever's made this, like, I'm really impressed.
Probably
However,
someone
the
like you
actual,
thought, I'm
like,
not doing that the normal way. I've got to change that.
I was like, well, I generally didn't do it. I filmed my friend doing it. But when she was pouring the stuff into the hole in the ground, oh my goodness. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. If I'm not in a hotel, then I can't participate because I don't want to see or smell or
We're
have
not
to
about that
experience that
life.
ever again. Yeah, I'm not about that life. So yeah, little fun fact about me: I don't like camping. There you go.
Oh dear. Right. VIP is basically bottom line there. That's what we need to know. That.
Yeah.
Couple of fun non-motorsport related questions to finish off then. First of all, and I'm going to say motorsport aside, can't be included on this. There's just no motorsport this weekend. That's what we're going to have the rule here. What's your perfect Sunday?
Ooh, good question. So if it's a sunny day like today, it would definitely be a nice little dog walk in probably my favourite park, which is Gorge. We like to do like a lap or two of that and then head down the hill, which the hill is like this if you haven't been to Greenwich Park. And then there's a lovely little pub on the corner. So we sit there, have a little drink, and people watch while the dogs moan at us because my dogs do not like sitting still at all. And then obviously followed by a lamb roast dinner because lamb is my favourite. And then, yeah, maybe a hot bath and an early night, ready for the week ahead.
Very nice, relaxing Sunday. I have to approve.
Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, there is motorsport. So it means motorsport will be on the telly or I will be there. So you don't
as long as it's
have
VIP,
relaxing
Sundays.
Yeah. Don't make me out to be a diva, okay? I just don't like camping.
Final question then, old favourite of mine. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or a horse-sized duck?
Okay, so I brought this up the other day with my mum because I thought it was such an amazing question. And the conversation that happened, I really
This is what I do this job for.
You. Yeah. So basically, right, my answer is one massive duck, right? Because I feel that I can either jump on the duck's back and then it can't get me. Like, and this is the question: are the ducks trying to hurt her? This is
Oh
the
yeah,
question.
yeah. You're not just
okay.
You're not just being mean and trying to just like 100 little things trying to come at you. Just like, oh, we don't want to be petted.
Yeah. That's what that was. That was my argument, and my mum was like, "No, I think I would prefer the 100 smaller horses because they're horses if they're small, right?"
Yeah. Ducks
Yeah,
horses.
and she was like, "Yeah, no." She was like, "I've been watching Yellowstone, so I know how to lasso." And she was like, "I would lasso all 100 horses," and I was like, "Are you joking me?" I was like, "Horses like have teeth and can kick you." I was like, "Ducks, like I know they have teeth because Canadian geese once have attacked my brother, and it was hilarious." But they're like tiny. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like you could handle one big duck, whereas 100 horses is just too much. Then she was like, "Oh, well, I'll just get on my horse and ride away." And I was like, "You don't have any
you
other
don't have a horse in this situation.
like it's just you and 100 ducks." Anyway, the conversation, we was on a dog walk and it lasted the whole park. So I feel like you need to get my mum on the podcast just to ask that question because
I
she
feel like that's going to be its own
go
podcast.
on.
I'll just keep bringing people on. Like, which one would you rather have? Seriously, knowing mine, that'll be more successful than this podcast, and I'll be very annoyed at that.
No, honestly. But yeah, my answer would be one big ass duck.
We got there. I'm just happy I'm inspiring conversations between families. You know, I'm bringing people together.
You are. Exactly. I was crying of laughter because I was like, "You're not understanding the concept, like at all."
Oh, dear me. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. I want to thank you very much for your time and wish you best of luck with everything that you endeavour to do in 2023.
Thank you so much. And no, thank you for having me. I've absolutely loved it. And yeah, I will see you soon, hopefully, at track.
Thanks again to Danielle for coming onto the Kerbs with me. I'm looking forward to seeing what she gets up to this year, and if you want to buy her Mindset Mission book, it's available on Amazon and at Waterstones. If you also want to follow Danielle's career, links to her socials will be in the description below, so do go and check those out. Join me again next time when I'll be chatting to another famous face from the world of motorsport. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as well as check out the back catalogue of episodes on the On the Kerbs channel. If you want even more from me, you can listen to me chat about everything Formula 1 over on the Undercut podcast, as well as delving into the world of Nitro Rallycross over on the Nitro RX Podcast. Both are available wherever you get your podcasts. As for written content, I currently write for Is It Fast, Paddock Sorority and Paddock Passion, so be sure to check all of them out with original pieces released each week. All of the information and links for those will be in the description below, as well as my Instagram and TikTok handles if you want to go and follow me there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be back soon with another episode.